Recording.
I'm not doing it that way anymore.
Cool.
I knew that was
You
coming.
could have stopped us at some point.
All right.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun. 3. Good morning, good evening, and keep it tight. Welcome to Liquidmatrix Security Digest Hacker Radio Podcast Episode 0x73. We're back. No, really, we're here with myself, Dave Lewis, Will Noel, Ben Shapiro, and James Arlen on the Wheels of Steel. I should point out that this show does blah, 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 blah. Let's try that again. I should point out that this show does not represent the thoughts, intentions, or plans or strategies of world domination of our employers, girlfriends, wives, belly button lint, or the militant wing of the Girl Guides. Oddly enough, I still haven't got a letter on that one. It is solely our personal opinions. We make no guarantees to the accuracy, validity, relevance, or importance of anything we say or do here. My portion of this podcast has been brought to you by Airplane Coffee, impending holiday madness, and the end of 2017 as we know it. May it burn in infamy.
Bye-bye, won't miss you. Actually, I will. It was a pretty good year.
Yeah, compared to 2016, yeah.
Really?
Well,
We're
I
back.
think it really
Been
depends on where you
alive
stand.
in
Yeah.
2017?
We're back. Will has facial hair. Jamie can
Barely.
fit in a size 34 pant. And Ben's all whiskery too, but they're looking a little gray.
You're all aging me. I'm stress.
We're aging you?
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, because I can't blame my wife, can I?
Well,
Does she listen
See,
to the
Can
podcast?
if
We'll stop
she does
recording
not
and then-
listen to the show.
Yeah.
If she listens to the show, you're now screwed.
I didn't blame her. I blamed you. See? Different.
Same.
No, not at all.
Identical.
Okay.
So, hey everybody, surprise! Happy winter solstice Saturnalia celebration. Like, I got nothing.
I was actually in Stonehenge just before that. It was wet and miserable and overcast, like much of England.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I did that back in June. I did the same thing. I went to Stonehenge. And
So you could have gone for the summer equinox?
Well, yeah, we had our rituals, human sacrifice. It was rather an endearing moment.
Oh, is that how we keep powering the internet?
You know,
It's gotta happen somehow.
the equinox does not happen in summer. Summer gets a solstice. Equinoxes happen in the spring and fall when the two halves, day and night, are of equal length, that being equi.
You know,
Kind of-
you missed your calling, James.
As
Have
what?
you ever seen the show Dinosaur Train? Ben knows exactly what I'm talking about. Right at the end of Dinosaur Train. Point of fact, I'm Mr. Buzzkill, and I'm going to take this all away from the kids.
Oh, wait, that's the actual human who's in like safari pants and talks about the dinosaurs.
Oh, no, there's that guy who is actually okay, but there's this one guy that pops out of a door, and he
Is
just
this a
nullifies
kid's show?
everything that just happened.
It is a kid's show. Be just thankful that you were stuck with Barney. We
Yeah,
all-
remember
you missed
remember
that
that my youngest is 14 now.
I know, you were stuck with Barney. We have worse.
I'm
Trying to figure out if that
47.
was
I watch
dating
it.
you guys or if that was a family-based thing. Yeah.
That was very much it. Sorry, we left you out there.
It's all good. You know.
Hey, Will, if you want to
You
pop over
breeders are
and
taking
babysit
care
the
of
kids and watch
everything.
their crap, it's all good, man.
I'm all right.
So nasty.
Hey, let's talk about Bitcoin.
Oh, God, can we, please?
No.
Oh, hang on.
Huh.
Shout out to my work-related acquaintance Reese. The answer to everything at work has become the blockchain will solve it.
Yeah, there's a solution looking for a problem.
My
Well-
favorite was somebody said, well, how can blockchain stop attackers from getting into my network? And I'm like, lean forward. This is going to hurt.
Did you leave a boot behind?
Yeah, they would have been so lucky. Oh, there we go. Breaking my back here.
Speaking of which, Pineapple Fund did donate, $500,000 to OpenBSD. So if you've got a nonprofit or a charity that you think the Pineapple Fund should be supporting with Bitcoin, go hit it up. I believe at pineapplefund.io or something.
What's the Pineapple Fund?
Yeah, do tell.
Pineapple Fund. Well, let me Google
Is
it
it
now.
Pineapple Pen?
Did you actually just say Google it?
No, I had to because I didn't.
I thought we'd agreed as a team that we were going to Bing things from now on.
I never
I
signed
thought
on.
I thought we were going to DMOS things.
I'm gonna use Ash Jeeves. The Pineapple Fund is this
I'm gonna
individual.
also list to that, and then just to absolutely win this entire conversation,
Web
I'll
crawler.
be using
Lycos.
Veronica.
Alta Vista.
Veronica. Okay, now I got Elvis Costello stuck in my head. Thanks.
No problem. I'm here for
Wait,
you.
that's not a bad thing. That's actually awesome.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot of Bitcoin for charity. That's good.
Yeah. So the guy had, and he hasn't really done any advertising, or not advertising, but interviews or anything. He's kept it very, very above the board. The wallet address is verifiable. He's giving away over 5,000 Bitcoin. So you got to wonder how many Bitcoin he's got from software. That's roughly $86 million. EFF, Charity Water, and OpenBSD. Sorry, OpenBSD got 50,000. So there's a link to go apply right on the page there. Internet Archive. Like, I don't know. This guy just sounds like an awesome nerd who holded really well.
I don't know what you just said there, but I'll nod and smile.
HOLD. It's pwned for Bitcoin miners.
Okay. Anybody besides me gone spelunking through old backups looking for stuff you mined 7-8 years ago and forgot about?
No, but there is an urban legend of some guy who is apparently trawling through trash dumps looking for an old hard drive.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I've read that one. Yeah. Apparently it has 750 Bitcoin on it.
I'm pretty sure this internet thing is a fad.
It might take off.
It might.
Have you heard of the cloud?
The cloud.
Remember that whole campaign by that certain company that remained nameless? To the cloud.
Pew pew.
Oh, don't throw the pew pew maps.
Dude, we actually set one of those up at work the other day.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's got one. I know.
It's the only
Hey,
way.
you don't have a real sock if you don't have a pew pew die map on your screen for when executives walk in.
It's only good though, and I think that people should do this around the world. Is if they have one of those pew pew maps, randomly have the Pac-Man go across the screen, waka waka waka,
No,
and then not again for another hour.
No, it's a flag of China, and then
I thought that was implied.
And then Trump going waka 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 waka.
Oh, the less I see of that clown, the better.
I don't have any pew-pews. I just have the temperature in the hallway at my condo if you wanted to take a look at it. But whatever. It's a pretty graph. Thank you, Adafruit.
And the non sequitur award of the day goes to
that guy. All right.
Yeah.
Wait, oh, hey, check it out.
Yeah, there's literally it's just we had to prove to the mechanical contractor that the temperature was swinging wildly between hot and cold in the hallway, and to prove that there's something wrong with the recirc system.
We should share this with our listeners so that they can then hack your Internet of Things.
It's a public feed. It's only pushing through MQTT one way, so I don't know. Go take a look at it. It's on my public feeds in Adafruit's IoT framework.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it gets cold in your building, I'm seeing here.
Wow.
Like yesterday, it went down to, what is that, 13 degrees?
In the hallway, yeah.
You know that he's in Calgary,
Is the door? Well, yeah, that's true.
So I am
Is
gonna.
the door open?
No, that's all the doors are closed. That's the air being blown into the hallway.
Oh, that's
Why
jacked
do you
up,
have
right?
the air conditioner turned on? It's
There's
winter
no air.
in Calgary.
There's only a heating element in the recirc unit. So this has been home hardware repair time with the.
This is a very technical conversation, Will. Are you sure that you're qualified to opine?
I'll tell you, one of my favorite data
I'm
centers
not
I ever
qualified for
visited was in Alaska.
Yeah.
And when I asked them where their backup cooling system was, they looked at me like I was an idiot, and they walked over to this giant door
And open
and it opened it.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, okay, right.
That's awesome.
I was an idiot. That's okay.
Damn, that's for sure. Are we going to have any structure to this, or are we just going to talk about?
Well, let's do something.
Let's do something.
Let's talk.
Okay.
All right. So breaches, yes, lots of them. Move on. All right.
We're supposed to start with news and commentary, Dave.
Fake news, Dave. Fake news.
Oh, before we go any further, I saw this brilliant piece from a channel in the Netherlands where they were interviewing I believe he was an ambassador or something like that from the U.S., where he said he never said something. And then they showed the video clip where he actually said it.
The Dutch
And
ambassador from
That Dutch ambassador, that was it. And then he said it was fake news. And then they said, well, do you still maintain it was fake news? He looks and he goes, I never said it was fake news. And it was like, what? It's the same segment.
Yeah.
I don't even.
And the thing at the very end that he says something along the lines like, well, no, I didn't mean it, or I didn't, like, he used some weasel words to try to like make it sound like, no, I didn't say that, I meant it today, or something along those lines. It was pretty weak overall.
Absolutely weak.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, but because it is it's around the holiday solstice, days are getting longer, whatever. It's normally the time of year where, when I get together with the family, I'm trying to set people up with either multi-factor authentication, password vaults, or whatever, and also configuring mom and dad's router for whatever we need that time of year. So normally I've been putting in these safe DNS resolvers, OpenDNS, Google Safe Search things in the past. This young fellow, I'm believing, I don't know, I'm just by looking at his name. Nicholas Z on Medium, he tested out a bunch of the safe DNS resolvers, including the new Hotness Quad 9 from IBM and all them. And even though his methodology might seem to be a little bit not technical, not scientific, the results that he came across were that most of the resolvers aren't doing all that much to help us at all, at least when it comes to active phishing campaigns that have been recently added to Fish Tank, or old phishing campaigns that were still active, that the fake Facebook landing page or whatever was still landing. This guy has, Nicholas has done this type of comparison in the past, and kind of come out with these results where, maybe they're not doing as much, or they're not as effective as we think they are. I guess my question is, what do you guys use for your home networks or in the enterprise space? Is this nothing but them mining what our DNS requests are on the other side, or is there value in these things?
I use a selection of 8s and some 4s.
888-444?
And 88888.
88888.
Wait, it's IPv6, so it's a lot of 8s.
FE0,
You had so many extra dots in your dotted quad there, man. I'm worried about you.
I won't say what we use at work, but we use something that seems to work reasonably well at work, but it's one of those enterprise you pay a lot of money for.
Mm-hmm. What about then for the home network, though?
The home network until recently was OpenDNS, the Pro Home Edition. But now that I'm seeing this, I'm sort of thinking about switching over to Norton. But let me ask you this. I did see this article come up in my feed, but I didn't read a lot of it other than to just scroll down to and the best one is, what's the issue with the methodology?
I think the thing is that we don't know whether or not he's doing these all from the same hosts, resolving them at the same time. What is the speed at which this is done? So we don't know if different resolvers could be giving us different results on the other side. How are the browsers configured that we're going after it? Was he using synthetic user agents, or was he just like clicking browsing himself? I mean, like it's not. I'm not trying to take a dig at this guy at all. I think what he's done is good. It just seems that a lot of the networking nerds that have looked at this kind of been like, well, basically he's just changing his resolver file, clicking it, and seeing what the result is, as opposed to, I don't know, taking any measurement or dumping packets so that we could take a look at what the results are coming to. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I've learned over the course of 2017 that an individual's feelings are more important than actual science. So if you're trying to tell me that you need science here instead of feelings, and I'm hearing Ben, who until this point I've respected as a fellow information security professional and adult, choosing...
Wait, hold up. Adult? No.
Choosing pink shirt DNS. Have you guys seen the new
That's
Norton
what he did
Wi-Fi
say.
that will save your house? No, seriously, have you seen the Norton Wi-Fi device that will save your house?
Oh no, but we're seeing a lot of these coming out now. Yeah, and they're all like orthogonal shaped and like, yeah, that one.
It should be like a black box with a little red light on it.
No, that's the internet, dude.
Don't press the power button on that. Sorry, what is this Norton Wi-Fi that will save my house?
It's like your IoT Wi-Fi gateway, essentially. So put all your Internet of shits behind it, and it'll make sure everything is safe.
I have a solution for this whole Internet of shit or Internet of shitty things problem.
No, it is a stylish core. It is a stylish core router.
How many do you own?
I own 0 of these things. Like my spare AP is actually.
What the tap dancing? What is this?
This is what my spare looks like.
That's just
nice.
Because real networks.
Okay.
Not this Norton thing.
Dear PC Mag, please stop
Mag,
having ads pop up every 2 seconds.
All right.
Having
So
said that, the Unify Amplify Wi-Fi router is kind of sexy, I think. But
yeah, this is my baby.
I'm a big Unify fan, or Ubiquity fan. Yeah.
That's to be
Price,
installed.
price is right. Performance is good.
So maybe then just pass it real quick to the other two gents. Like, is there something that you do at home for DNS resolution, or that how you set up your family, or that you would recommend to other people going into their family's houses to tighten things up over the holidays?
I do two important things. One, my very young children are not allowed on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, I got to tell that story.
And two, the missus has an iPad. And to date, I'm not aware of any exploits on iOS that, are meaningful. So that's my safety measure for them.
Mm-hmm.
And me, I don't have time to surf the internet for fun, so we're probably good.
That's just making me sad. Yeah, so letting your kids surf the internet without, adult supervision includes things like, back in the day, there was a show on PBS sponsored by the National Science Foundation called Peep in the Big Wide World. And when you're a very young child, Google searches Peep TV.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, you don't get what you think you're going to get.
Oh, I have a story. I have to share this story.
Good thing you have.
I got to grab a bottle of wine 1 second.
No, where's he going?
He's going to get one of these.
Okay, this is a good story, but I wanted to hear it because I wanted to watch him spit his alcohol out onto the screen. All right, he's back.
Oh, he's drinking wine.
All right.
Was that a Pinot Grigio?
Many years ago, I was charged with the responsibility of deploying WebSense to a certain global corporation. The WebSense can be described as a series of parts flying in loose formation together and usually going kathunky. Anyways, we get all of it deployed. Great. One day I get a phone call from a project manager in one of the remote regional offices in the Canary Islands, of all places. English is not his first language, but he acquits himself very well. And he calls me up to explain that there's a problem. And listening to him, and he suggests that maybe I need to enforce Google Safe Search. Okay, but tell me more about what happened. And he says, well, English is not my first language. I know, but you speak English very well. I was reading a report on the new place where airplanes would land, and I saw this word, landing strip. So I decided to look for a picture of it on the internet to understand what it was.
That's not going to turn out well.
Guide me home.
Oh.
Anyways, that was my funny story.
So, what are you doing for your new choice in DNS resolver there, Bill?
I've got Quad 9 set up at a couple of clients, and I have my parents and I are still sitting on OpenDNS, but I haven't signed up for any of the packages above that. And I'm starting to wonder if it's actually doing, if I'm getting anything of worth, because I think like even with OpenDNS, all that stuff has gone under Cisco umbrella now.
Yeah. So
I don't think that any of the actual security benefits are given to the public through OpenDNS anymore, unless you are a nonprofit or a university or something.
Yeah, I'm a little leery on the whole DNS resolving and blocking thing.
Yeah, but defense in depth, you want to try every tool available to you, right?
But then you're installing all.
We see every single sorry, go ahead, Jamie.
You'll install every single antivirus product there is if you want true defense in depth. And I'm thinking that if you're getting your DNS resolution from, I don't know, the ugly pink shirt on the cover, I haven't trusted their products to work at all, let alone getting into the discussion around added security surface or added vulnerability surface. Are you getting anything out of this other than you're a product?
No, I don't think you are. And like, let's run through a red team exercise. I'm going to spin up a legitimate looking domain. I'm going to farm good content on it.
Okay.
So I'm going to wait to get searched, indexed, whatever, as clean and
like Liquidmatrix.
Yeah. Just download all the PDFs from our website, please. We promise they're safe. Most of the Word documents and the random exe files. They're all good. You trust us. And then at some point, I will then flip my content to nasty content, and all the filters that sit out there, the DNS filters and what have you, you're going to look at it and go, oh, yeah, no, it was categorized as legit. And and the reality is that most of these places don't sniff the content at all that's going by. So it's not going to really help.
I guess the only benefit that people are probably going to get from something like that is that if you say have children or something like that, and you want to do something like Google Safe Search but don't trust Google or whatever, then you can like turn on the porn filtering or something like that, and not have to worry about configuring their host. But then they're just going to find other Wi-Fi in the neighborhood.
So here's the thing: as a former young man, I can tell you that one of the very first things I downloaded from a bulletin board system in the early 80s was porn.
This is my shocked face.
Yeah, you can dot matrix print out a porn. You can find anything on the internet, and hiding behind a domain name service like that, especially because, let's face it, it's DNS. It's not going to resolve the URL. All it's resolving is the host name.
Yeah,
that's not protection, not in a meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
Having a little bit of anti-bogon kind of filtering in there, sure, that's great. Use a DNS service that takes and puts known bad shit out there. And then I'm going to remind you of the every spam block list that flushes on an inconsistent basis.
Orbs.
And how those have done such great things for mail security. I can tell you for sure, I get exactly more spam than I've ever gotten in my entire life on the internet. Now, with all those highly successful, how many block lists are there?
Yeah.
How many?
Oh,
Hundreds? Hundreds. The answer is
Probably
100.
fair.
Dude, I mean, the number of block lists that I'm using just for my torrent client is like, there's like 400 feeds that you're pulling in.
That sounds illegal.
I seed crunch bang.
That's a notional legal use, is it? What's crunchbang?
It's a
Linux.
Explain.
Okay, I don't know what a crunch bang is, although it does sound very much like a red tube, but that's
it's a kind of Linux notionally.
Dave,
lightweight Debian.
Sorry, here's your old man card.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, I got that. I'm official. I am definitely older than everybody on this podcast.
That is true, but you look like a 30-year-old young man. It's all good.
This is the one group I get to hang out with and still be the young guy. This is awesome.
Have certain things dropped to within kneecap proximity yet, Will?
Let's try that again.
Joey.
Dude. Come on, do it.
No, dude.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd like to say to any of my employees that actually listen to this, take me seriously at work. I'm so scared.
I mean, what? Yes. You go on.
I am human. I like to mess around. All right. So, what was the conclusion, though, Will? Which is the right thing? The 4.8s or something else?
That this gentleman Nicholas came across. I think his takeaway was that you might have better results. I'm not looking at the page right now, but it's something between Google Safe Search and one of the lesser known ones was probably the more performant. That was the other thing that I forgot to mention there, which is why the discussion about some methodology was in there, is that it was to be a discussion of how performant they are, not just whether or not they're blocking malicious domains or irreputable domains, but also that they were fast resolvers, that they were a solid service. And I think he says that it's just like, using Google, turn on Google Safe Searching. But then some people have issues with, Google Safe Search, or just using Google and have them having a record of everything that you
use.
Do.
Bing.
Yeah.
Hi, Lucy.
We've been joined by the Queen of Darkness.
Hi, Lucy.
Say hi, Lucy.
Oh, where's my cat? We're not doing that right now.
Where's my fur? I don't have any fur.
Hey, news stories.
Dave and Ben can go and get children and hold them up.
No, if I do,
asleep.
they'll suddenly wake up, and I don't want them to. I like it when they sleep.
Yeah, they're wonderful when they're asleep.
Yeah, wait till you have teenagers. So Ben, this is your story. Something about
Weasels.
The nuclear vessels.
Underwater vessels.
Russian vessels.
Vessels.
Captain.
And Alameda.
Nuclear vessels. No, actually, they are probably nuclear vessels.
They're submarines.
They are generally, yes. That makes them nuclear or diesel with batteries. But anyways, so this comes out of thehill.com, which I'm pretty sure is a political thingy from Washington. So it's probably right wing and everything. But whatever. Supposedly, there's been a number of reports of Russian submarines messing around near the Atlantic internet cable.
Cables.
What? Cables, multiple. Yes, sorry. Somebody has a map. I think there was a map that Dave put up here.
SubmarineCableMap.com.
Oh yeah, is that
Let's have a look. Oh my God.
didn't
Pretty
that,
awesome, actually.
Show notes would be nice there, Dave. You lazy.
That's a lot. Anyways, if they are floating around there, then all your non-HTTPS traffic and probably all of your HTTPS traffic is theirs now.
Cool.
well,
Anyways,
you just maybe sometimes wonder if this is a longer setup for a larger thing. We saw those BGP flaps last week,
you're
2 weeks.
ruining,
Just a week ago, yeah.
Coming later.
Oh, that
Good.
comes later. Oh, right.
It comes
Okay.
later.
See, we prepared. Yeah.
But like, I mean, this is, again, what really, like, I find cool but terrifying at the same time is these are like category breaking attacks. If they're successful in this, then there is literally no way to unfuck that situation. They tap into the internet cable, they're pulling out whatever they want, they're degrading HTTP traffic, they're injecting who knows what, blah 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 blah. There is for the average consumer and for the average global organization or small business or whatever, there is no solution there.
Quantum and turbine all over again. It's just done by a different player.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Anywho, I thought that was interesting, and it leads into something I'll talk about later. Anyways, over to you, Dave.
Cool.
What a segue.
Well, seeing as how we were talking about Russians earlier, I thought it was really interesting.
Skip me.
But
What?
Did we skip you?
Oh, it says Jamie before Dave.
Oh,
My God. Oh my God. Like seriously.
Oh
like,
my God.
He's all verklempt over here.
I think his
Papa,
feeling is
can
heard.
you hear me?
We can
Papa,
hear you.
Can you see me?
We can see you.
Papa,
Person,
me?
we validate you.
Okay, good, because there's a company called Keeper Security that's just experienced the Striesand Effect.
DERP.
Okay,
I
there
thought we
we
jumped to
go.
DERPs
There we
already.
go. Okay, that was good.
Yeah, no, the DERPs are even funnier when we get to them. For now, so Keeper Security, wildly insecure stuff that our compatriot Tavis Armandy has already beat hell out of once. Turns out they fixed the symptom, not the problem. And for a while, they were part of the base deployment of Windows 10. You guys know that Windows 10 sometimes installs crazy ass software you didn't ask for as part of the Windows 10 home installation. Yeah,
To be honest, I've never used it actually.
Okay.
It's still not like an open SSH
elite
client. Oh,
son of a bitch, you. So Dan Gooden from Ars Technica brought this point up and said, this is crap. And so they tried to sue him.
That is just absolutely moronic.
So I'd never heard of them before this.
But now you have.
Neither have I.
Now I know who they are, and now I know who will never, ever, 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 ever in a million years make the recommendation list for a good place to store your passwords. In fact, I have right here a much, much more secure way to store passwords on your computer. You stick one of these to your monitor, and it's going to be better than Keeper Security. Talk about pulling a douche move and thinking you're going to get away with it.
Wait. So did they go after? Who did they go after in their lawsuit?
Dan
was
Gooden.
They went after Dan Gooden, the reporter, not the original.
And Dan is not somebody who phones it in.
Yeah.
This is why
they didn't go after the original disclosure because it was a standard Tavis Armandy disclosure. They're always right. It's that when this was published in Ars Technica, they went after Dan Gooden for alleging the report of the defects in its products made false and misleading statements about the Keeper software application, suggesting that it had a 16-month-old bug that allowed sites to steal user passwords. I'm gonna toss this one out here in case you guys aren't aware that minor permutations of bugs are still the same damn bug. If I can increment or decrement a counter somewhere and get the same wrong behavior, it's the same bug. All you did was block one instance of the bug. Not.
Oh wow! Look at this injection. That is just horrible.
And here's the thing: Keeper Security has previously threatened to sue a security research firm over publication of other defects in its products. So
they're doing it wrong.
when you're a security company, you can produce software. Absolutely. I've worked for security companies that produce software. Ben and I worked at one company that produced software. And if it's got problems, especially when they're of a security nature, like the particular flaws that Tavis found, it's on you to fix that shit. And it was actually on you to never have that particular class of vulnerability ever occur in your product in the first place. There's a lot of, for lack of a better term, charlatanism going on in the security product space, especially lately. And this is just another example of, are you fucking kidding me? Don't do this. So if you happen to work on security software or a product that's being sold as security software and you know that it's not, are you sure you still want to keep working there, or should you be already farming your resume out?
I'm trying to remember a vendor that we spoke about that had a security issue, but then handled it the right way. I know we spoke about one earlier this year. But it's the same
well, we've only done one other podcast this year, Ben.
So it must have been.
I mean, when I did vulnerability research, and like we're going back, oh my God, 10 years. Literally 10 years ago, I had multiple vendors where I found vulnerabilities in all kinds of different security products, doing very simple checks, and I was stunned at what I found.
Oh yeah,
every one of them, bar one, were fantastic. And I'll give WebSense credit where it's due. They fixed that bug that I took to them in less than 2 hours, and pushed a fix.
It's
I was
worth
stunned.
pointing out, anybody who doesn't know Dave personally, if Dave's finding vulnerabilities in your software,
you are in big trouble.
Like really, Dave can't find a vulnerability in a Word doc.
I am not fit
Remember
to carry Tavis's coffee mug.
Remember when I did that to you?
Which one? What's that?
Handed you a report to review and buried stuff in the middle of it, and you didn't find it. So
that's because I didn't read it.
Let's be clear. That wasn't lack of technical prowess. That was just Dave being lazy.
Ding. All right.
So anyways, that's the entirety of my story. The Striesand Effect is real. Keeper security. You can't sue for the truth. Anybody who told you that, fake news, bitch.
So what's been the response in the wonderful Twitterverse or other places?
Like I have time for that. I have 2 new
jobs.
I haven't
tweeted in years.
I actually
in September I got 2 new jobs. I quit my old job, got 2 new jobs. I don't have time for this shit. That's why we haven't had these.
You're doing it wrong. You should quit one job to go to another job, or one job to no job if you get really rich because you found your Bitcoin.
I'm not gonna give anybody for having more jobs when it's always possible that I could have 0 jobs. So take all the jobs you need, man.
No, I kind of lucked into
You're oversubscribed.
helping to build a post-grad cybersecurity program at a college. So I'm also a college professor now.
Do you have a jacket with elbow pads on it now?
Oh God, that would be the best.
But we
should get you one.
Those of you who will recall all the way back to the security intern, she's actually a licensed elementary school teacher, and the fact that I'm a college professor,
oh man,
do not rub it in her face.
Does not make her happy, and she's fairly certain that there's a problem in the system, in that people like me are allowed to teach at the college level.
Glitch in the matrix.
So yeah, no, nobody's had time for the Twitter.
Okay, well, Dave has all the time for the Twitter.
Well, thankfully, that is actually part of my role. I did actually see a lot of people. They went, okay, rolling up the sleeves and getting that IDA Pro and going to town. And I did hear. I haven't been able to confirm this just because I haven't had time. Apparently, HT Moore found some more stuff in it, and it's just. That is, obviously pending verification. I have not had a chance to do that because, we were at a water park with the kids. But yeah, no, it's just like, okay, oh yeah, I'm going to sue this particular reporter, not that person that actually found the bugs. And then, oh, right, everybody else is going to jump in the pool and find out what else is wrong with your product. Here's an idea. Just fix it and shut up. Or put out some good, solid product to start with.
This is like a weird kind of variation on a bug bounty program, really. They've arranged for
Very
some
weird, yes.
extensive testing of their software.
That's true, actually. They have the largest, they're not going to enjoy how their reports are delivered.
You cannot sue your way back to happiness.
I'm thinking some of those reports will be paper bags full of poo set on fire. So now it's Dave's turn to talk about the globeandmail.com.
Well, not the Globe and Mail, but since we were talking
It
about
says Globe and Mail right on the screen, Dave.
So when we're talking about, you mentioned fake news, we were talking about Russians.
Fake news.
And I'm just imagining a giant peach covered character jumping up and down, making noise about Russians. And go figure, there's an article here in the Globe and Mail about how Russian hackers have targeted more than 200 journalists globally, trying to get into their system, get into their networks and all the rest of it. And it just, it's really, at what point do people stop pretending this isn't happening? I mean, when we talk about where they're going after undersea cables, it's not much of a stretch to see they're trying to get into the email of various journalists.
I think they stop right after the point where they come to grips with the duality of I am a good Christian and I voted for grabbing pussy.
Oh, I just, how did we get to this point? I mean, I understand. I just don't. It's like there's a glitch in the matrix, but this time it's not just a black cat. I mean, this is seriously messed up.
So what's the end game with these Russians targeting these hackers?
Well, you know,
the Russians
they're
journalists.
targeting journalists.
Sorry, the Russians targeting the journalists. My mistake. Journalist, hacker, I confused the terms.
Honestly, I think they want to get ahead of the spin. They want to see who is actually a threat to them. Where they're getting their intel from. Where are these various journalists getting their story leads
Their
from?
sources, yeah.
That's where I'm getting to, with their sources. And then they will target the sources if it is something that they have the ability to do so. As Russians, I mean,
We're
sources...
talking about the people who did polonium to people for...
yeah, for a cup of tea. And I mean, and there's been a rash of individuals involved in various investigations that have suddenly had heart attacks in the back seat of a sedan. It's funny how they made it to the... I know, I randomly see people in the back seats of their sedans. It's absolutely amazing to watch this sort of thing. And then the political push that we're seeing across the spectrum of, you know, fake news, this is something that irritates me to no end. I don't know. I'm a big fan of, facts, data, things to support an argument. I don't know. I grew up in a different age, not this absolute insanity. And when I look at these things and I look at these various things, I really do worry about it from a Canadian perspective because barring any unforeseen changes, we are looking at a next federal election in 2019. And I honestly think that we are going to see Russians trying to affect the outcome. I would not be surprised to see that they have already gotten to work.
It's really hard, though, to hack a piece of paper and a pencil.
That's the beauty. Well, no, that actually makes it a little bit better. It's just, it's hacking the hearts and minds of people. That's the part.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Hey, look, I remember back in 2016, my dear mother, who is a bleeding heart liberal, will quite literally give a person the shirt off her back if presented with the occasion. Thought Trump was a good guy.
I give up.
Right. So hearts and minds may be hacked.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Also, that made for a very uncomfortable coffee with her.
Dude, you can't just threaten his mom like that, man. It's like on the
threatening
internet,
his mom? Who's threatening his mom?
What are you going on with there?
Where'd you go?
I would love if
it's not
Dave
raining. Why do you have an umbrella?
I would love if Dave sat down with my mom. It would be awesome.
Actually, that probably would. She spawned you, so she's got to be a really tough bird.
Oh, hell yeah.
Bless her heart. Oh, yeah, so that's just it. And that's what I see this nonstop evolution with regards to Russian incursions around the world because they're getting away with it. I mean, I hate even saying his name, but Trump will just lie down and let them roll all over him, and then go off and have a shower. But he has. It's not in his best interest to do anything about it. It's not in the best interest of many of their various Congress critters to do anything about it too, because follow the money. And this is one of those things that really worries me. And people will go, okay, how is this a security issue? It's a giant security issue. The cascade effect from this is terrifying on so many levels that it really does actually cause me some consternation.
So I mean, this whole idea of, well, our systems are secure, yes, but if I can hack all the users, you know, mentally, emotionally, whatever, then who cares how secure your core is?
Exactly, because they have realized they can attack on all sorts of fronts, and people are, in a lot of cases, gullible, as we saw with the election in 2016. I know, a shock face on Jamie. And this is really something that I find very troubling. I would have hoped, like I even saw a backlash against higher education not that long ago, where people were venting, and it's like, how is this a bad thing to have? I don't know.
Critical thinking is hard.
I know. It's like, no, I don't want the pablum. No.
Well, that's un-American or un-whatever.
Well, that's good because I'm Canadian. I love my American cousins, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to play. And this troubles me too, because I lived in the States for a period of time, both in South Carolina as well as DC, and I love it there. I absolutely love the people there. I don't agree with the political landscape as it is today, because I worry seeing, you know, the place where I used to live, the place I used to call home, being basically torn apart on multiple levels. And this really does cause me a great deal of concern.
Now coming back though to the journalists,
Yes.
I do recall that at least the Tor Foundation had run classes on, or at least, you know, provided guides on how journalists can protect themselves.
Yeah, and I think the EFF and Citizen Lab and all of them. Yeah.
And I believe Runa Sandvik from New York Times actually did a couple of blog posts on that as well. And what we should do is we should collect those and put those in the show notes as well.
Yeah, you go.
That sounds like work. Thanks for
Yeah, my work.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
I'll take it. All right. So transitioning over to
Breaches.
God, there's no shortage of those, eh? Remember back in 2012 when I wrote the Summer of Breach on Liquidmatrix? 2012.
Mhm.
And it's just going straight from there.
Well, because now it ain't a breach unless at least 5 billion accounts are compromised. Not million, billion.
We won't get out of bed for at least half a billion.
Just anyways.
Yeah.
So very wrong.
So coming back to the Russians, because hell, why not? They're busy. They're industrious. We should be impressed by these comrades. Okay, so good old internet, network of networks. And at some point, one network has to tell another network it exists. And so the nice people, I think, at Cisco and other places gave us this wonderful thing called BGP, which is Border Gateway Protocol. And in the very early days, one network would announce and say, hey, I'm this network, and you can come through me to get to other things. And there was, like with all things on the internet, zero security around it, because only certain people could. What the?
That was a surprise.
JB.
What was that?
Wasn't me.
Jamie's the only one who looks guilty.
As I'm turning beet red. No, I opened an article about Pakistan's BGP route changes to block YouTube a few years ago, and thank you, CNET, for embedded autoplay video.
All right, fine. You'll post a link to that too now, since you're digging a hole. Anyways, as it turns out, yes, anybody can announce that there is a route to the network through a network through their own network.
Mm-hmm.
And as Dave rightly points out, Pakistan, yes?
Yeah,
Pakistan decided they didn't want people to see YouTube because maybe, I don't know, blasphemy or some silly witchcrafty thing like that.
I'm not going there. There was a video that they had taken issue with. I can't remember what the video was, but
it was something about the king, or no, or
Pakistan as
that
a
would
king.
be Thailand.
That was Thailand. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, witchcrafty reasons, but they just decided to. My address is Dave Lewis at 123 Evergreen Lane. Brampton, Ontario. I don't know. I'm guessing. Whatever.
I feel sorry for whoever lives there.
Flaming sacks of poop. Anyways, and so as it turns out, anybody can announce that they are the route to a network, and there is no security on it, on these announcements. And so this problem has generally been addressed by people blocking BGP announcements and making sure that they're watching for silly things happening. But every once in a while, somebody happens to find an ISP or a route that allows them to make a BGP announcement. It isn't blocked. And lo and behold, back in the middle of December, almost the end of the year, so I can say middle of December, somebody decided to make announcements for routes to Google, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft's networks. And so this was done by what is called Autonomous System 39523, which is a fancy name for saying that specific network. And over a period of 2 hours, it managed to announce to the world that it was actually the route to get to these big brand names and their websites. And they used very specific route instructions, so it overrode all the other routes out there. And they managed to grab traffic for 2 blocks of 3 minutes apiece. Now, those among us will turn around and say, well, HTTPS and encryption. And the answer is, I'm sure if they can do this, they can also find a way to force downgrades on encrypted traffic and get up to other shenanigans. That particular autonomous system, 39523, guess where it is? Everybody?
Hit me.
Russia!
Cool.
Dun, dun, dun.
There we go. So, yet again, almost a category-breaking attack, right? Because this is not something that any of us can defend against, unless we happen to be Google. So, but again, still the Russians up to some big shenanigans, and that's cool and terrifying at the same time.
Well, but at the same time, there has to be something that there is something to be said for the fact that, like nobody's home network participates in BGP, that it's only, your carrier network or your ISP participates in BGP. And whoever the Russians are peering with on the other side, if they were doing things like, proper route filtering and for BGP configuration, then there's a chance that, Google should never have routes advertised through Russia. Anybody downstream of that area should know that my routes shouldn't be showing up that way.
You're right, but look at this. Hurricane Electric and Telstra among other ISPs
that accepted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
We have to have some flexibility for when large carriers or backhauls go down. That's true. I just feel like this is BGP being one of the oldest underpinning routing techs that we have on the internet. This seems like this should be a solved problem to me.
It is, but it requires that everybody
participates and is not malicious. Yeah.
And all you need is one ISP just not to behave themselves properly, and you get messed up. There is a thing called BGP-SEC, and that is not universally applied either.
No.
So.
And then we look at things like we saw, like I was talking about earlier with, it was actually Pakistan Telecom. They received an order from the highest levels of government, as they put it, to null route YouTube, well, not null route, but change the route to pretend it was something other than it was. And they did it very, very wrong and basically broke the internet for a few hours. These sort of things are not new. These mistakes happen a fair bit. As we saw with the Russians, whether or not there was a mistake is another thing.
No, it wasn't a mistake.
I'm giving a little bit of wiggle room. Who am I giving wiggle room?
Putin love you. You okay, dude, Dave Lewis.
What's that, tea? Yes, I'd love to come for tea. Wait, no.
Tastes like polonium.
No, just honey in my tea, please. No polonium.
It's not raining. Why do you have your umbrella again?
Ouch, my knee. No, too soon.
Wait, what movie references? Sorry. No, but this was no way accidental. The route prefixes were too specific for this to be whoopsies.
Yeah, where you fat finger like a by 8 or a by 16 or something like that. No, this is specific. Yeah.
Like that one was malicious, whereas with the Pakistan Telecom one, that was, from all reports that I've been just perusing again, it was a whoops on the rather significant scale.
Has Arbor put out onto their YouTube?
Never heard of them.
Videos.
Not heard of Arbor
Network without bursting into flames, Dave.
I cannot say that without bursting into flames.
OpenDNS. No, sorry, Cloudflare. Can you say Cloudflare?
Appliances don't scale, and I'm not even going there.
Cloudflare. Just say the words Cloudflare.
Nope. Not
say it. Say it.
Akamai. There we go.
That nice house brought to you by Akamai.
There you go.
Or has Akamai put out any, of the visualizations from their BGP scopes for that attack?
We had an excellent guy on staff for years.
Oh, instantly you're we now.
No, I've been a we there for 5 years now.
No. I'm joking that you wouldn't say it now. We're all in.
We did have a guy there that did reports on the internet, state of the internet report, not the security piece, but the connectivity one, named David Belson, who has since left us to go over to Oracle. But he is a fantastic resource. If you can look him up and find him, he does great reports, especially about outages like what we're seeing with the BGP stuff. He is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I was really sorry to see him go, but I'm glad that he is still doing what he does. And he is, so David Belson, he's on Twitter. I think it's D Belson. I may be mistaken, but a fantastic, very sharp guy.
So here is this interesting question though, because this is ultimately they can man in the middle the entire internet if they choose. When people find these little holes in the BGP frame, like the trust relationships that exist. What is an average company to do? Now, granted, the home user can't do squat about this.
No.
But a medium-sized company, a Fortune 500 or whatever it is, they could actually see this. But I've never actually seen any security org talking about, and I'm talking about like a corporate security org talking about, we're monitoring for this, and we become aware in the event that somebody manages to hijack the routes that lead to our internet-facing stuff. Not a one. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never heard of anybody talk of it outside of the big carrier guys.
Yeah, you're operating above a level that is commonly seen in corporate network operations. To be paying attention to stuff like this, they're, in my experience, they're fully dependent on their upstream for that.
Right. And so then most corporations are, with the exception of the giant ones like Google and Microsoft, et cetera, are absolutely defenseless against this attack. Now, in all likelihood, Russia or whoever the cyber threat actor of the week is, when they find these little holes and they get up to whatever they get up to, they're not going to waste it on, mid-size and, Fortune 100 companies. They're going to go after the Fortune 5 or the big fish in the internet. So it's probably fine. But still, nobody looks for it except for these big carriers.
It's true enough.
Anyways, that was depressing.
It's fucked. It's all broken.
That's what we do.
Fucked. Yeah.
There should be a
security
hug as a service. After every bad security report, would you like a hug, Mr. CEO?
I thought we just sat there and go, this is fine.
It's on fire.
This is fine. I'm okay.
You know that dream where everything's on fire and you're on fire and the bicycle's on fire? That. So who wanted to talk about threat post?
Really quick, David Belson's Twitter feed looks pretty sweet, pretty solid.
Oh yeah, no, he's absolutely he knows his stuff cold. I mean, he's a really good guy to follow on Twitter.
Cool. I'd speak a little bit about threat post, just because we're hitting like a little bit of like a network stride or something like that. Oh wait, am I talking about the right article or is the one? Yeah,
it's a good thing he's pretty.
Not even pretty anymore with the porn stash.
All your hackers.
Yeah. But yeah, the one thing
November's over.
Just because we are in the breaches section, or is that how we would normally do things? That's just because it's close to home, and it was on an attack. They Nissan Canada Finance. So the financing arm, which takes care of your car lease, I'm guessing. They detected observed or detected later an attack on December 11th, which they then announced on the 22nd, which I guess is yesterday. And it said it may have affected 1.1 million customers and their credit info and stuff like that. So, hey, the upside of the story is that for Christmas, Nissan Canada Finance is giving away free credit monitoring to any of their clients who purchased a vehicle in the past X number of years. So, go check that out.
So if I took all the free credit monitoring I've gotten over the last few years and printed out each one of the emails and lay them end to end, anyway.
Mine would only be one sheet of paper. I was on the Home Hardware or the Home Depot. What is the hell's that store called now? Yeah, the Home Depot one. That credit monitoring expired. I haven't gotten any free credit monitoring since then.
Wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, given that you weren't in Toronto for the fail panel version 5, Equifail, you wouldn't know how worthless credit monitoring is.
But if your credit monitoring service does get compromised, don't worry, you can get credit monitoring service with that same agency.
Put the Trace Buster on the Trace Buster.
Oh God, no! I know that reference, just no. But I still hold that the whole Equifax thing was the biggest marketing exercise ever and incredibly successful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wait, is Equifax a smoking hole in the ground?
No, but they did lose 3 of their senior management, which were token sacrifices.
With huge handcuffs.
Huge. Like the CEO walked away with what, 90 million?
Jesus Christ.
Where do I get that kind of deal?
It's the size of the pineapple fund.
Job where I can screw up horribly and get $90 million.
We're doing it wrong again.
I should become a CEO.
We skipped a link in there. Somebody's got a ZDI link in there.
Yeah, I've got going back to talking about how we were hitting a networking stride.
Right.
It's just it's the end of the year, so there's a lot of the summaries or whatever. But a cool one I think is 0 Day Initiative. They have their top 5 bugs of the year that you can go check out. It's a good read to see, if there's anything or new or interesting and exploit chains that you're unfamiliar with. And the one that I've kind of picked out of this is that they have a bug for the VMNet service that runs as system on your virtualization hosts.
Jamie?
Yeah. Are you alive?
What are you doing, buddy?
I'm looking for something.
Okay. Sorry, Will. Please continue.
It's all good. But basically, the cool thing about this is that this is a bug in the natting service, which runs part of the network stack for the guests. And basically, it turns out that when it allocates a NAT for a connection, TCP connection, that it allocates a fixed heap that can take basically 256 fragments per packet. So if you build out a packet that has more than 256 fragments, you can get some interesting crashes that may be somewhat predictable and some overflows and where that's going. It's going to take a little bit more massaging to make that do anything as they note. But I don't know, it was really cool to hear about these bugs that exist in the networking stack of VMware hypervisors. Also been in service, or no public mentions or disclosures about bugs in that service for 12 years. So there might still be like a lot of fun, interesting security research that you can do if you want to mess with VMware. So go check that out. I don't know, an interesting read. I feel so far away from InfoSec recently because I've been designing hardware. So to hear about escapes like this is kind of cool for me.
Yeah, humans as a species are just terrible at designing sandboxes.
Ooh.
So, anyways.
So that's that.
Cool.
Something happened at Fail Panel?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was excellent.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that polyester suit of yours was a fire hazard, man.
Yeah.
So for a few years now, except for that one time when Ben completely neglected to send in a request to speak, we've been doing the very Canadian version of the Fail Panel.
With a token American.
Well, no, that's a token representative from the original Fail Panel, so that we've got at least some
credibility.
Credibility sitting up there, yeah.
We have no credibility.
None.
So, yeah, videos posted. Go and watch. Links in the show notes. What you'll discover is that we're a little bit irreverent. And
a little?
Just be thankful there's no video, Ben. We're just telling people that you were dressed in a way that was suave and sophisticated.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do.
No problem.
Mute this tab. Mute tab.
And we got feedback subsequent to our time at the conference, and somebody didn't appreciate us wasting their time. If only they'd had the skill or ability to stand up and walk out of the room.
Well, the chains on the door probably were a bit of a hindrance.
Yeah, they were apparently expecting much more from us. And
we were pretty clear about it.
Let's set a scene. I think this has been one of the times I remember where we've had a packed room, and we were actually in a reasonable sized room as opposed to we were in one of the tiny rooms and there was standing room only. Like this was every seat was filled and it was a large room.
I want to
was
read.
pretty fun.
I want to read from the abstract just so that everybody understands sort of what the base for this is. Quote, "This is the time when we talk about how we spent another year in this industry doing the wrong things, letting bad guys win, and generally bringing the fail to our day-to-day lives. It will be irreverent and irrelevant and also completely awesome. Bring your Q's and A's and be ready to participate unwillingly as a member of the audience." We literally told this person, you're going to be an unwilling member of the audience. It's going to be irreverent and irrelevant. And you're mad at us because we wasted your money.
But reading is hard.
Here's the thing. In the back of my head, I want to say, if only we could correlate the ticket sales with commentary after the fact. And I'm thinking somebody was comped a full pass.
Actually, you know what? Yeah.
The only people who complain about the cost of conferences are the ones who don't pay for them, I think.
I don't follow that logic, but I'll just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. When was the last time you personally paid to go to a not community-sized conference?
20 years ago.
Within the past couple of years.
Probably 7 years ago.
Okay, so again, personal. Will, is that more company than personal?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, except as a freelancer, that was me. Right. I got it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right. In fairness, I didn't pay for it either. It came from somebody else's pocket. But...
Right. So, who keeps track of how much conferences cost? Besides middle management and people in the finance department that I don't talk to.
And freelancers.
Gotcha.
Right. It's
Okay.
the kind of, now you understand the kind of person I'm talking about. You'll notice them also walking around the expo hall or the business hall collecting tchotchkes.
Yeah, full of the little plastic swords and T-shirts and squeezy things. Yeah, the swag hunters.
There should be a you know when you go into a data center, they've got the weight sensors to make sure you haven't smuggled gear in and out.
Yes, we
There
have
should be one of those at the top of the elevator for every conference or escalator for sector.
At one of the banks that I worked at, we had those going in and out of the data center, and one time we forgot to bring back a bag we were carrying, and they got trapped. It was like, fun and games.
I heard you talk about my favorite subject.
What?
Talk about your favorite subject? Yeah, security intern just stuck her head
Hi,
out.
security intern.
Hello.
Sector people?
Yeah, we were just talking about annoying sector people.
Did we
But
just
let's
have an
talk here.
HR violation?
Tell her to come here.
She's not allowed to talk
She's not allowed to talk about that now.
Tell her to come here. We want to say hi.
annoying people at sector.
Can she say
No,
hi?
ask me anything.
I would ask her anything.
Jamie.
Really?
wanna say
We're
hi
on
to
full
her.
Reddit here.
No.
Jamie.
Something landing strip?
Jamie, we want to say hi.
No.
Ask me anything was the request.
Oh, I'm just gonna I don't want to get any on me. I'm gonna back up.
You hear this recording?
I'm gonna cry.
No.
Wait, you're recording right
Little
now?
Joey.
We don't need-
We're recording right now.
And yes, we're recording right now.
I can see her shadow in the reflection there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's her walking right out. There's the finger.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I can see it in the reflection. It's brilliant.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, top right-hand corner on the whiteboard. There we go. And the door's closed.
Shutting.
There.
I think I'm gonna be written up.
Oh, we're all in trouble now.
I think I'm gonna be on the couch. Pricks.
Okay, I have a quick derp to
Okay. Yeah.
to
Besides
top
the one
this all off.
put us all through.
Yeah, in apology, I offer this story, which is that I'm building some hardware for the company that I've joined up with, no longer freelancing, which I guess is the biggest change in Will's life. And part of the hardware that we're developing has a LTE modem on it. That we're getting this module from this vendor in China. It's great. It works with soft SIM, eSIM. It's Qualcomm reference. All the drivers in Linux work basically, to a degree, except for this weird issue with
Do you have to be beta testers?
raw IP versus like 802.3 headers on packets that are coming in, which required a kernel patch. So
say one right over that one.
in the kernel patch that they provided to me, the kernel patch is provided as a PDF with the screenshot in it.
No, it should be a diff file.
Kind of a diff file?
Well, it's not. It's a PDF that has this image of the kernel patch, which I couldn't even copy and paste, because if I did that, it would reorder the elements and put in the confidential in between the different lines and move everything completely out of order. So then out of nowhere, I was manually transcribing C code into my kernel as I was compiling and testing.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? I was like, that was a new form of personal hell for me.
Okay, so now you've proven that you are the young guy, because when I was young, GitHub for me was copying shit by hand on the back pages of Compute magazine.
And not
Frack.
knowing
You meant
until
to say
the very
frack.
end, right?
No, early 80s. Compute
Okay,
magazine.
All right.
Like copying shit out of the back pages. So yeah, Will, having to retype a page of text.
Oh, poor baby.
Violent.
Wait. So
But the bigger statement is that this is a kernel patch for a known issue that they people know, and like that there's modern solutions to this problem.
But here's the thing, Will. I guess, no, I'm going to say for sure, you weren't actually talking to one of the engineers. You were talking to a people person, who takes the specifications from the customer and gives them to the engineers.
I really haven't spoken to anyone. This is just the package I got, man. That's my problem.
Office space reference. Office space reference.
I've got people skills, damn it.
You're making me jump to conclusions on my mat. Do you watch movies, Will?
Not often. Yeah.
We're going to have to get you on a program, son.
Yes. He has homework.
We'll discuss this later.
Just don't touch my stapler.
red swing line.
I have a black swing line.
Wait,
I know it doesn't count. Yeah.
They moved me to the basement. I don't know why. Wait, I'm in the basement.
I'm in the basement.
Yeah, oddly enough, so am I. It's happened.
Finally.
So we got a mail from the internet.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Wait, what's the internet?
The internet.
It's a series of tubes.
Yeah, the internet sent us an
Back up
email,
a truck. It can't just dump a.
and the internet says,
Full of cat pictures.
So, what about actually doing this podcast a little more often?
Does now count? Because now counts.
Now counts.
Now counts.
This is now a semi-annual podcast.
We're good for 2017.
This is a huge tangent, but in Alberta they're doing this thing.
Yeah. Wow. No. Just no. Bad
Just
chance.
let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Moving on.
Thank you.
In Alberta. Have you guys amalgamated yet into, what is it, British Saskatchewan, Alberta, Toba?
Basically, my answer was when I was asked by the when you go by the pharmacist, what my recreational drug use was, how frequent or often it was if I used any. My response was seasonally. She's like, what does that mean? I'm like, what does that mean?
Oddly enough, I have expected yes.
I'm growing up, guys. I'm not as young as I used to be.
I know. My idea of recreational drug use is caffeine.
Gotta look out for that ticker.
Good old Nespresso.
And muesli. And muesli.
Yeah.
Does muesli count?
It's the 83 milligram aspirin over here.
I gotta
how big is
take the
that?
pills for my gout every day, so allopurinol 100 milligrams.
Wait,
as I
80
drink.
milligrams? Is that like a suppository of aspirin?
Oh my God.
Oh, we didn't get a spray out of the guy. All right.
So we've been talking for a long time now,
Yeah.
and I'm going to have to edit this, which I wasn't actually planning on having to
Why
do.
do you have to edit it? Why don't you just
Put it
post
out. I'm done with doing the
Because I
show a
want
little
to
bit.
have a home life.
Okay. Wait, so you're going to take out the incriminating parts for you, but not for the rest of us?
Correct.
Got
He
it.
has the outtakes for us for how many years?
That's why I'm somewhat nice to him.
Yes, be very nice.
I think I'm down with myself doing the thingy a little more often. I finally settled into a new transition shift, leaving freelancing and becoming a full-time employee. So yeah, schedules will hopefully become more regular, depending on how China works out. China.
My classification changed, and I was retroactively put on strike as a professor. So yeah, that's going to straighten out for next
Didn't you
semester.
just start there?
Yeah, and then they changed which kind of professor I was after the strike was over, and then I was not paid for strike time.
So you're like an inverse scab?
It's weird. I don't understand.
Did they come and suddenly pick at your house for 5 weeks at random?
No, it's I don't understand life at the office, but it's awesome nonetheless.
I do have to share this though, and for those of you who are a failed panel, you heard the story, but it does have something to do with the strike. So for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, the colleges in Ontario, which is a province in Canada, look it up, went on strike for their faculty over disputes about part-time faculty and wages and so on. All the usual reasons, not without merit certainly. It was a 5-week strike. It completely and utterly, I think, screwed over a whole bunch of students. But that's neither here nor there. No, not really.
Not as bad as you'd think.
So here's the story. My dear mother she has certain disabilities that prevent her from standing out on the picket line, and so she asked for accommodation, and the union, in their infinite wisdom, gave her social media picket duty. Were you not listening? You were not listening at the panel at all. There was like a huge laugh on this one.
I was present, and I don't actually recall.
This is why
I do recall that one actually.
I had to send an important text. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, anyways, so I'm talking to my mother one day, and I'm like, "So how's your strike duty going?" And she's like, "Well, I have to go onto social media every day, and I have to post links to articles that are favorable to the union's position." I post them where? Well, on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I'm like, okay, are you using your own accounts? No, your father helped me set up some like new fake accounts. And then it hit me.
Your mom's catfishing?
No, my mom is a Russian social media bot troller thing.
She seems to have a lot of disposable income for a retiree.
Oh dear.
Why is she holding so much Bitcoin?
Retirement, man, retirement.
Why is her handle Fancy Bear?
My mom is a Russian bot. There we go. Anyways.
All
right. Shall we get to brieflies?
Yes.
Sure. Briefly, just as we were talking here, actually, Hoff tweeted out on Twitter that it's time, with a screen cap of him watching Die Hard, because it is the Christmas season. I've got two real quick. One is the pineapplefund.org that we talked about earlier. Check it out if you know any nonprofits that should apply. And the other one is npass.io. I've been a big fan of 1Password for all my password vault needs or whatever, but they've moved to a subscription service. You can still purchase the non-subscription, use like local storage or whatever, or cloud storage, but it's harder to find, and I think they're trying to phase that out. NPass is a little bit different. It's $5. Basically gets everything you need. Give it a try. At least it's good for a gift for somebody, just to get them to start using a password vault. Time of year to do it.
Looks cool.
Yeah, my brief is that Die Hard is in fact a Christmas movie, and you can tell that it's a Christmas movie because it is on at theaters near you, if you happen to be Dave or me or Ben.
Or Will.
Really?
Fifth Reel Cinema is doing a showing of all the Die Hards. Check them out.
Okay, well, there's 2.5 good Die Hards.
Yeah.
There's only one that's a Christmas movie.
one, and then there's two Christmas movies.
Well, yeah, but one that's
and then there's one that's Are You Fucking Kidding Me?
And then there's another one that's What the fuck was that?
Wait, was that the cyber one?
That one.
Yep.
There we go.
That's still better than the one that followed it up.
So
there was another one that was in Russia. Sorry.
I love the chase scene though. That was cool.
So
They
yeah,
used Nmap.
if it's December 24th or 25th and you're in southwestern Ontario when you hear this, Die Hard's at Cineplex. So Christmas movie, yippee-ki-yay.
Motherfucker.
Got it.
And there's our explicit tag.
Hey, here comes
All
that
right.
shit. Bye, Will.
Almost made it.
Oh, I swore before earlier. I
Hey,
just plowed through.
Dave, you need a briefly.
My briefly is actually something a little bit different.
Wait your
No,
turn.
it's not your turn, Dave.
Okay.
I was giving you a warning to get your URL shit together.
No, there's no
Fire
URL.
Robert.
There's actually no URL for my briefly. So
Then you don't get included.
All right, fine.
Sad pad.
Hey, Magic Leap. It's real-ish. It's a developer kit coming out real soon now, but at least they're showing the hardware now. It looks so awesome. I can't wait to have all my Pew Pew die screens floating in the distance in
Is it
augmented reality.
Sugaroo, a little bit of something, and Magic Leap. Sounds like a great time. They have
It's threat but forever.
There you go. Take some shrooms, watch
Oh.
my Magic Leap. It's all good.
yeah.
Here's another good one. The LG 27 UD 55,
Gesundheit.
27-inch 4K monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. Got 3 4Ks in front of me now.
Look at his
Yeah,
eyes.
so
It's like
big.
ah.
Yeah,
and
Dave's eyes are Jamie's eyes are like surgically attached to the top of his skull.
yeah.
the
Quadro
boxing day sales are
P600.
coming.
Quadro P600 will cheerfully drive 3 4K monitors off of a old Mac Pro tower.
Nice.
It's like 6,000 and change pixels by
it's
almost
your- it's your-
4,000 pixels.
It's your screen hubris that prevents you from mining Bitcoin.
Yeah, pretty much. Because electricity is expensive, dude. It's not a thing.
Go solar. All right, come on, Dave. Give me no link. No link, Dave.
Okay, so no link. We're actually fixing something. We have not had a whole lot of writing here recently on liquidmatrix.org, but we have had from Larry and Ben, who have been pretty much the only contributors.
Not me, Ben. Other Ben.
No, the other Ben, yes, Ben Brown. So these guys actually contributed in 2017. And so going into 2018, we're actually going to start writing a little bit more. I can't speak for the gentleman on this particular call. And in addition to that, we also have to take a moment to pause and remember those we lost at Nakatomi Plaza. And done.
Seacrest says,
Where the
That's you-
fuck
that's you,
is
Will.
Matt?
I know where's Matt, right?
He's swimming in his billions of dollars Scrooge McDuck style.
And he probably has a lot of Bitcoin. He seems like the guy that would probably have a lot of Bitcoin. You
Well,
know?
he's down in Texas
he
now,
has-
so he's got lots of barbecue.
he's got
Mm.
artisanal Bitcoin.
Artisanal Bitcoin.
No, yes.
Bears the marks of the
Free
hand of the
range.
people.
Free
Hand mined. Hand mined.
Hand mined.
Oh, there was a guy who was doing hand mining or hand hashing, and Will froze. Did Will freeze?
Yeah.
He froze.
I
We
don't
lost
know
him.
what's happening now.
I can hear him, but he's not moving.
So there was.
That froze
Oh,
up.
there he is. He's back. So Hacker News, there was a guy who was doing hand mining, something like 0.75 hashes per day.
Nice.
0.75 hashes per day.
Something
Jesus
like that.
Christ, he's doing the. How do you? Oh man, that's a lot of paper.
Yeah, mining Bitcoin with pencil and paper. Sorry, I was wrong. 0.67 hashes per day.
Oh.
But this was back in 2014, I think. So he's probably sped up by now.
No, it's gotten
Yeah, they installed the new
computationally
firmware.
more since then. He's probably slowed down.
Mm.
It's funny, actually. Back in May, I bought $20 worth of Bitcoin and other fiddly bits like Ethereum and things like that, and it's now worth over $800. This
Oh,
is
you're
not,
just gonna.
this
lord
is
that
not
over top.
normal. This is not normal.
Scrooge
What are you
McDuck,
doing?
you go do your thing.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, can I present you a new investment opportunity and me? You can get in on the ground floor.
Is it a bridge? Is it a bridge?
No, it's
a
me.
monorail.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
Monorail.
Yeah, we're all going to hell. So
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
here's the part where everybody says, "Hey, it was nice talking to you in 2017. We'll see you in 2018."
In the future. Dun, dun, dun.
Nanu, nanu.
Cheers.
Shaz
Happy
bud.
New Year's, guys. Bye.
Ciao.
Where's the button to stop this?